Yesterday, Marvel released its first extended look at the Fantastic Four first steps, and well, I don't want to say that I'm disappointed because that would allude to me having any sort of faith that this was going to be good, but I guess a little bit underwhelming. I think that's probably the most appropriate way to put it, but here's the thing, that doesn't necessarily mean bad. I think I probably prefer the Superman teaser to the Fantastic Four one, just for the simple fact that James Gunn's Superman doesn't have as much baggage as the continuation of the MCU, and well, there's a distinct lack of Pedro Pascal for one trailer as opposed to the other. But it's interesting how many people have taken this apart, looked at it every which way in the past 24 hours, and well, I would say the general sentiment around this is anywhere from, yeah, it's pretty good, to, it's fine. Like, nobody outright hates it. They are selectively picking out a couple of shots that look a little bit funky, just pointing, obviously, to a couple of things that really don't jive, and well, we'll do as much, because I don't really want to play the trailer, mostly because I don't think that there's a lot to gain from it, but we can pause on selected screens, because I think that is that's far more necessary. Mostly, the biggest thing and the best part about this is, well, the aesthetic's pretty cool, right? Like the retro futuristic 60s sort of thing, but all of the sets look real and genuine. Okay, you're not seeing a lot of CG, but Pedro Pascal not shaving that goddamn mustache. It's like, bro, Reed Richards has a beard, or he's clean shaven. Okay, he doesn't have the goofy little caterpillar. I don't care. If you think that it's an aesthetic or a look or something like that, you're a dork who's getting pushed way too hard by the industry, and just like Sam Worthington, you're going to get phased out in a very short order. But yeah, outside of that, so far, so good. And then you just move ahead and it's like, oh my god, we got the new logo, and then we got the Baxter building that's in the spot where you have the Avengers Tower, so that means it's an alternative universe. And well, this is what a lot of people are focusing on, right? Because for as much as I can say, like, the sets look good, the aesthetic is fine, but people are really focusing in on the Thing right here. And well, like, I don't have that much of an affinity for the Fantastic Four. I respect them for what they are, Marvel's first family, Steve Ditko's prized possession. Like, I understand the significance, and finally nailing and getting the Fantastic Four right. Oh, that is something that, well, this is the third time over that somebody's tried to make it happen. And even with, the X-Men and Raimi Spider-Man movies cooking in the early 2000s, I managed to skip out. I might have seen a couple of scenes, but I never sat down consciously and watched Fantastic Four movies, the first one and The Rise of the Silver Surfer. It just, I don't know, man, it never really resonated with me. So yeah, there's a bunch of references that I kind of know through secondhand knowledge, but I'm just going to end up missing a bunch of it. Like, a lot of my Fantastic Four knowledge, it comes from a bunch of the different Marvel video games, okay? Marvel vs. Capcom, the fighting games, and of course, Ultimate Alliance. Those two games were fantastic, and, set a lot of the groundwork as to why I would recognize a bunch of the different characters when they ultimately did start showing up in their own movies or as side characters. And then knowing what I know about them, it's like, okay, Disney, why are you doing this stuff? Oh, we get why you're changing all of this stuff. But the one thing that I did want to play is just well, the Thing's voice, right? Like, for as much as I don't really have that much knowledge of the Fantastic Four, I at least recognize that the Thing should kind of sound a little bit more like a monster than he should sound like a man. And well, if he's already transformed at this point in time, I mean, he probably shouldn't just sound like a regular dude. I mean,
yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay, is this guy good or what?
Now, here's the thing, okay? Like, Sue Storm looks great, and we'll eventually see a little bit of Johnny Blaze. That's all fine. That's all fine and dandy, and you get to see everybody, sans one member of the four, demonstrate their powers, which I find very interesting, and I'm sure that they're definitely not working on the CGI behind the scenes in order to make certain aspects of one of those characters' abilities a little bit more believable. But the Thing looks fine. The CGI it's better than what we're normally accustomed to seeing from Marvel. It's just he doesn't really have that gravitas. Like, if he's just going to be regular old Ben Grimm, if this was prior to the rockification, the Thingification, if you will, and he's just talking like a regular guy, that's fine. But it's you're missing the point there, okay, if you're just talking like a regular guy. But yeah, just moving ahead, and just the amount of, like, you can just see, okay, you can see the time code that's right here, and they're doing an awful lot focusing in on having family dinner. Like, that's nice. Okay, cool. You have this kind of blended family that you have there. You guys are really taking the whole family dynamic seriously. I appreciate it. It's just for your first proper introduction, you're spending the first 30 seconds on food. It's an interesting choice, but then, things definitely do start to pick up. The introduction of, the rocket going to space, everybody getting their powers. You see who I assume is eventually going to be set up as, the key jangle at the end. Oh no, my mistake. That's Ben Grimm right there before he gets changed over. Okay. And that's, yeah, that's a shot that's really getting picked apart, but hey man, he's got that big extended brow, and that's the way that he would look with a fedora on. Yeah, it just kind of looked like he's wearing a prophylactic, but it's like, it's kind of, that's the way that he would look, okay? And it is a mix of CGI and prosthetics, so I gotta give him props for that. I don't mind it. I really do not mind it. And the Human Torch here, I understand that this kid's famous for Stranger Things. Another thing that I didn't watch. It's just it's kind of the entire sentiment of this whole trailer. It's like, it's fine, but something seems a little bit off. Like, I look at him and it's just the Human Torch. Yeah, he doesn't represent it that well, okay? He's in action, the flame looks pretty good, okay? And then Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, it's like, the good casting, very good casting right there. But then you have a random John Malkovich sighting in here all of a sudden. It's like, okay, who's he going to be playing? And like I said, don't know a lot about Fantastic Four or too many of their villains. Like, obviously, they introduced two of the central major villains to all of Marvel, which is why this film is being earmarked as being the most consequential for Marvel this year, even though they have several to be released, including next week with Captain Falcon. But this right here, there's going to be a key jangle to Doctor Doom. You goddamn well better believe it. But somebody who is explicitly, shown right here, you can see, got our first shot at Galactus, which is, it's interesting because obviously he's a hell of a lot smaller, especially if, he's reasonably, even if he's on Earth and he's not looking down at the Statue of Liberty like it's a speck of dust. It's like, obviously, Galactus can shapeshift a little bit, but he's most known for devouring entire planets and galaxies. So yeah, something's obviously going on there. But we also know something else about the casting, and well, like I said, I'll go ahead and link this, and you can watch the entire trailer if you will. But yeah, all in all, the aesthetics are good. It passes a rudimentary smell test. It just doesn't really get me excited. Okay, even though on YouTube I've seen it's got a 98% approval rating, whatever that means, and you got all of the reactors going, oh my god, there's 4 of them, there's 4, and they're wearing comic book accurate costumes. It's just, we won't point to the comic inaccurate Reed Richards on multiple levels because that would be racist, but it's so funny how they want to appeal to comic book accuracy whenever it benefits them, but then at the same time, you don't want to deride it for anything else. But yeah, no, it looks fine. I don't know how many people this is going to talk into the theater to see it, and ultimately it'll be interesting to see if it over or underperforms Superman that arrives 2 weeks prior to this, because yeah, it's in theaters July 25th, and 10 million views on Twitter, I think just about as many, if not more, on YouTube. Yeah, there's definitely interest in it, and no, it doesn't seem to be woke or anything like that. It's just, like I said, underwhelming. Okay, not bad, not great, just there, okay, the quintessential mid-trailer, but something else, okay, something else that is obviously being hidden is the one other casting that we know for sure is out there. Fantastic Four First Steps trailer shows a sneak peek at Galactus, but no trace of female Silver Surfer. Julia Song, I do believe, famous from Ozark. She was cast. Like, this isn't a rumor. I think it was put out there by the, Hollywood Reporter, the varieties of the world. All of those rags ran with that. And no, it wasn't going to be a herald of Galactus. It was female Silver Surfer. And so she wasn't in the trailer, and then they just immediately throw to the big bad. What are we doing here? After years of waiting, Marvel has finally unveiled the first Fantastic Four First Steps trailer, marking the long-awaited MCU debut of the Marvel's first family. Now, the studio in desperate need of a win, this film may be the last chance to turn things around. Well, they're banking big on this because, yeah, they're introducing Galactus. That it's interesting, right? Because you can't waste Galactus. right? Like, they're setting up Doctor Doom for big things as well, who obviously has, you know, very strong ties to the Fantastic Four, but like, if they're going to be setting up Secret Wars and it's just going to be Galactus after Doctor Doom, like, that would be, oh my god, that would be doing the consequence of this villain a massive disservice. But who knows, man? Because there's not really much to glean from this teaser trailer, which I kind of think, right? Like, it drops on February 4th, F4 day. Oh my god, Disney and their symbolism. It's kind of like how in May there's going to be May the 4th, where they're going to go out there and put a trailer for... I legitimately don't know at this point in time. Who knows? But whatever. Under the direction of WandaVision's Matt Shakman. Ugh, that's another problem. Okay, you put everything, you're pushing all your chips in on a Fantastic Four movie, and the best that you could do is somebody who directed a couple of episodes of your earliest and one of your shittiest TV shows. Okay, Fantastic Four First Steps stars, yes, Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. What was I saying? Johnny Blaze? Who the hell is Johnny Blaze? Anyways, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach as Ben Grimm. The film follows their transformation, yes, from test pilots to superheroes after exposure to cosmic radiation. However, the greatest challenge comes in the form of Galactus, a legendary world devourer. Yes, the devourer played by Ralph Ineson. He was Sam Tarly's father, right, in Game of Thrones. Fantastic casting for Galactus, by the way, because I thought it was floated out there that Javier Bardem was going to be Galactus, which is another great call. But if you want somebody who has a legendary voice, who has a certain amount of gravitas, for somebody who's ostensibly going to be a voice actor, I mean, you could have done a hell of a lot worse. The newly released Fantastic Four trailer, yes, showcases the four main heroes, fully CGI version of the Thing. Not a fully CGI version, okay? I got to take umbrage with that. And even, yeah, Herbie the Robot, a nostalgic nod to longtime fans, yes. And then also the Fantastic Car was in there. It's like, there's a bunch of shit that I seen pointed out that I have no reference of, okay? I knew about the robot through other sources, but outside of that, it's like, I don't know that the Fantastic Four had a car. That's kind of crazy why they would need a car, but they have one, okay? But yes, a brief glimpse of Galactus teases the cosmic scale of the story, but one thing is notably missing. Zero sign of the female Silver Surfer. Julia Garner has been cast as Shala Bal instead of the classic Norrin Rad, a controversial move that has already drawn backlash. Could Marvel have deliberately kept her out of the trailer to avoid immediate fan outrage? Well, as vanilla as the trailer ultimately is, I mean, it kind of serves to reason that that could end up being the case, but ultimately, when we get the trailer, Fantastic Four won't be an origin story. Director and actor makes concerning remarks about the vital MCU film, so that's interesting, right? So it's going to follow them from getting their powers to meeting Galactus, and it's not going to be an origin story. The hell, what are we doing here? It's crazy, right? Because we're just half a year. We're half a year away from this release, and it is Marvel's, honestly, its most consequential film. Because if this one flops, everything else is done. Okay, like the Avengers films, they'll pop a rating because RDJ is going to be in there, Chris Evans is going to be there, and it's just going to be cameo fest after cameo fest. But the long-term health of the MCU rides on the viability of Fantastic Four. I'll have to wait for a trailer to offer a more concrete opinion on this, but as for a teaser, like I said, man, underwhelming. Doesn't get me excited at all whatsoever, because I know ultimately where this stuff is going to go, and especially everything leading up to this. Ooh, it's going to be a rough year for Marvel. I don't know if they pull out of it at the end here, but honestly, I'm a little bit hopeful. I'm hopeful, but not looking forward to it. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. It makes about as much sense as the casting as Pedro Pascal is the smartest man on earth. I don't get it, man. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.